Shri Rajalakshmi Prakashan published. A textbook on fundamentals of agronomy 1. Authors: Dr. D. N. Jagtap, Dr. P. B. Pawar, Dr. U. V. Mahadkar. Chapter 12. Crop rotation, its definition, principles and advantages of crop rotation. Crop rotation: the cultivation of different crops in succession on the same piece of land one after another is known as crop rotation. Objective of crop rotation: to prevent the build-up of insect pest, weeds and soil-borne diseases, to maintain soil fertility for the next crop, to conserve soil erosion which may cause from wind or water, to conserve soil moisture from one season for the next, to ensure a balanced program of work throughout the season. The traditional crop rotation is in general exhausting and makes no contributions to soil fertility. The basic problem is therefore to devise a crop rotation that will raise the level of soil fertility, thus making it possible for the following crop to benefit fully from the favorable moisture required prevailing during its growing periods. It is frequently assumed that pulses are desirable preceding crops for the winter cereals, and it was originally that increasing the area under pulses would have beneficial effects on soil fertility. However, results are always disappointing at harvesting. A seed crop from the legume usually results in a drop of at least 30% in the yield of the following wheat crop as compared with following wheat with fallow. Legume, seed, wheat, 30% loss. Wheat, fallow wheat. Leguminous crops that are not allowed to mature seed but are used for green manure, hay, silage, have been shown to improving the soil fertility. When a deep-rooted legume crop such as lucerne is turned under for green manure, the soil has usually dried out to a depth of several feet. When the legume is cut before seed formation, the amount of plant nutrients removed from the soil is relatively small while the soil is enriched in nitrogen and organic matter. Principle of crop rotation: alternate growing of crops with differential ability to absorb nutrients from the soil or having different root depth. Shallow-rooted crops must be followed by deep-rooted crops in next season and vice versa. Alternating crops susceptible to certain diseases with those that are resistant. Alternate host provision: a planned succession of crops that take into account any detrimental or beneficial effects of one crop on the following crop. These effects may be due to toxic organic matter, soil structure, soil microorganisms or residual soil moisture. Alternating soil exhausting crops with crops that contribute to the improvement of soil fertility. Alternating crops with different peak requirements of labor and water, etc. Cereals must be followed by pulses and vice versa. Follow a legume forage crop, such as clover or alfalfa, with a high nitrogen demanding crop, such as corn, to take advantage of the nitrogen supply. Grow less of nitrogen demanding crops, such as oats, barley and wheat, in the second or third year after a legume. Grow the same annual crop for only 1 year, if possible, to decrease the livelihood of insects, diseases, and nematodes becoming a problem. Don't follow a crop with a closely related species, since insect, disease, and nematode problems are frequently shared by members of closely related crops. If specific nematodes are known problems, consider planting non-host plants, such as grain crops for root knot nematode, for a few years to decrease populations before planting a very susceptible crop such as carrots or lettuce. High populations of plant parasitic nematodes will also affect the choice of cover crops. Use crop sequences that promote healthier crops. Some crops seem to do well following a particular crop. Example: cabbage family crops following onions, or potatoes following corn. Use crop sequences that aid in controlling weeds. Small grains compete strongly against weeds and may inhibit germination of weed seeds. Row crops permit mid-season cultivation, and sod crops that are mowed regularly or intensively grazed help control annual weeds. Use longer periods of perennial crops, such as a forage legume, on sloping land and on highly erosive soils. Using sound conservation practices, such as no-till planting, extensive cover cropping, or strip cropping, a practice that combines the benefits of rotations and erosion control. Try to grow a deep-rooted crop, such as alfalfa, safflower, or sunflower, as part of the rotation. These crops scavenge the subsoil for nutrients and water, and channels left from decayed roots can promote water infiltration. In regions with limited rainfall, the amount of water used by a crop may be a critically important issue, usually one of the most important issues. Without plentiful irrigation, growing high water use crops such as hay, as well as sunflower and safflower, may not leave sufficient moisture in the soil for the next crop in the rotation. Be flexible enough to adapt to annual climate and crop price variations, as well as development of soil pathogens and plant parasitic nematodes. Advantages: rotation of crops improves the fertility of the soil and hence brings about an increase in the production of food grains. Rotation of crops helps in saving on nitrogenous fertilizers because leguminous plants grown during the rotation of crops can fix atmospheric nitrogen in the soil with the help of nitrogen-fixing bacteria. Rotation of crops help in weed control and pest control. This is because weeds and pests are very choosy about the host crop plant, which they attack. When the crop is changed, the cycle is broken. Hence, pesticide cost is reduced. Crop rotation adds diversity to an operation. Factor affecting crop rotation. Climate is the one of most important factor which is affect the crop rotation either by wind, rain or other factors. Type and nature of soil. Type and nature of soil is also important factor which affects the crop rotation. Some soil are fertile and some are low in fertility. Availability of inputs. Availability of inputs at the place is also affects the crop rotation like fertilizer, pesticide, etc. Availability of labor. Availability of labor affect the crop rotation. The labor is required at the critical stages of crop. If the labor is not available at that time, the crop may cause loss. Situation of farm. The farm location is also very important factor which is affect the crop rotation. Size of farm. The size of farm affects the crop rotation. Small land holding is major problem. That's why crop rotation is affected by the farm size. Type of farming. Type of farming is also affect the crop rotation.
We politely request, please like, share and subscribe our channel Sri Raj Lakshmi Publication.